Hello guys, good to see you back. In this tutorial we are going to learn MySQL string functions. Here you can see all the string functions. And in this tutorial we are going to cover these green color functions. And in our upcoming videos, I'm going to complete the other functions. So let's start the practical and try to understand how we can use these functions with our select command. So finally I am back to my MySQL Workbench application. I already start my XAMPP server and create the connection. And here you can see I open a table named students. And we have total 5 records in this table. And also we have total 5 columns: ID, name, age, percentage and SCT. So I am going to apply our string functions in this table. So our first function is upper. If I pass any string to the upper function, it's going to convert to the string into uppercase. Let me show you. Select ID, comma, and now I'm going to use upper function. Inside the parenthesis, I'm going to provide our column name, which is name. I want to see all the name in uppercase. That's why I use this column. So this function going to return a new column, and we need to use alias name for that. So I'm going to type as name, comma, and our last column is student age. And then we need to provide the table name from student and semicolon to end the line. And if I execute this code, here you can see it's created a new column name, which is uppercase name. And you can see all the names in capital letter: Advan, Smith, Sophia, Neha and Mia. And we have another similar function which is also do the same thing, ucase. Let me show you. So I'm going to type ucase. If I execute this code, you can see the same result. All the names are uppercase. Our next function is lower function. It's going to convert all the characters in lowercase. So here I'm going to type lower. If I execute this code, here you can see it converts student names in lowercase. Similarly, we have another function which can do the same thing, lcase. Let me show you. If I execute this code, you can see the same result. Our next function is character length. We can count characters using this function. Suppose I want to count all the characters of student names. For this, I'm going to use this function, character length, and inside the parenthesis we need to provide the column name, which is name. And now I don't want to see student age, so I'm going to remove this column name. And also I'm going to change the alias name of this column, which is total. With that, I want to see name column, so I'm going to type name, comma, character length. If I execute this command, here you can see student name and its count total character of this name: Advan 5 character, Smith 5 character, Sophia 6 character, Neha 4 character, Mia 3 character. Not only that, if I use space between name and their surname, it's also count the space. Not only that, we have short form of this function. If I pass char length only and then execute this code, you can see the same result. It's also count the name character. This is the shorter version of this function. Not only that, we have another function which can count the characters, which is length. The length function not count the characters, it calculates the byte length. It's going to return how many bytes the name takes. Let me show you. So I'm going to remove this old function and I'm going to type length. If I execute this code, hey, it's not work because I did some silly mistake. The length spelling is wrong, GTH. If I execute this code, now you can see nearly same result. I know it's similar to character length function, but it return bytes, not the characters. Let's jump into our next function, which is concat. Basically, it's going to join two string value or string value with numeric value. Suppose I want to print student name with their age in a single string. In that case, we can use concatenate. Let me show you. For now, I don't want to show student name, so I'm going to remove this column and I'm going to use concat function. And we can pass multiple columns name inside the round braces. With name, I want to concat student age. And also I'm going to change the alias name of this column, which is result. If I execute this code, here you can see the result: Advan 24, Smith 22, Sophia 21. It prints student name with their age and it's create a single string. And if you want to give space between name and age, you need to use third column, comma, between them I'm going to use double quotes and a space. And if I execute this code this time, you can see it's give a space between name and age. Not only that, we can use any character between them. Suppose I want to use slash. And if I execute this time, here you can see a slash between name and age. There is no limitation with this concat function. We can use multiple columns to concat each other. Suppose after age I want to concat student ID. So inside the double quotes I'm going to pass dash, then comma, I'm going to pass ID column, ID. And if I execute this code, this time you can see student name, student age, dash, student ID. Not only that, we can use custom string with that. If I type student age, and if I execute this code, here you can see it print add1, student age 24, dash ID 1. Similarly, we have another function which is concat underscore ws. So I'm going to use underscore ws. There is a minor difference between concat and concat ws. In this function, we can pass third parameter, which is separator, and it count our first parameter as separator. So I'm going to pass inside the double quotes underscore, and in our second parameter I'm going to pass name column, then age column, and then our ID. And if I execute this code, here you can see the result. It print name, then their age, and then their ID. So we don't need to use this separator multiple time. In our previous method, it's look very clumsy, but in this way, it's look very organized. So this is the basic difference between concat ws and concat function. In concat ws, it's take our first parameter as a separator. Our next function is related to trim. Related trim, we have total 3 functions: ltrim, rtrim, and trim. Let's see what is the difference between these 3 functions. So first, I'm going to type ltrim, and inside the round braces, I'm going to pass a string, which is student name. And before and after student name, I'm going to provide lot of space. But if I execute this code, here you can see there is no space after and before student name. Let me prove you that thing. So I'm going to type another select command. Select, inside the quotation, I'm going to provide lot of space. Then I'm going to type student name. Student name. After student name, I'm also going to provide lot of space as name. If I execute this query only, here you can see it's print student name, but it also print lot of space. But if I use ltrim function, let me show you. And we need to move this string inside the round braces, and then execute this code. Here you can see in left side there is no spaces. Similarly, if I use rtrim and then execute this code, now you can see in right side there is no spaces, and you can see this space in left side. ltrim going to remove all this space from the left side, and rtrim going to remove all this space from the right side. And if I use simply trim and then execute this code, here you can see it's remove all this space from both of the side. And then come our next function, which is position. So I'm going to use this function, position. This function can find the position which you want to find. Suppose you just want to find name, and then we need to use in keyword, in, and then we need to provide the string. Then inside the double quotes, your name is add1. And now I want to find this name word in this string, and this function going to return exact position of this word. So let's execute the command and see what happened. If I execute this command, here you can see it's written 6. The name word start from the 6th character of the string. Let me prove you. Our first character, second, third, fourth, then a space, but it is also a character. So this is our 5th character, and then come our 6th character, name, and that's why it's written 6. But if I use this same word multiple times, then what happened? If I execute this code, it's always going to return the first word position. Similarly, we have another function and we called it instr. So I'm going to use this function, instr. It similarly works like position function. Just a little difference. We don't need to type in keyword. And first we need to provide the string where we want to search, and then we need to provide the keyword what we want to search. And this time I want to search is keyword. And if I execute this code, here you can see it's written 11 because is start from 11 index. So this is it. This is our second video related string function. Here you can see all the string function from SQL command. But in this tutorial we are going to cover these green ones. So without wasting your time, let's start the practical. So finally I am back to my MySQL workbench application. And I already start my XAMPP server and create the connection. Here you can see a table named student. As you can see, there are total 5 students. And we have also total 5 columns: ID, name, age, percentage and SCT. I'm going to start this tutorial with locate function. Let me show you. The locate function also works like position, but we can send third parameter to this function. So let me show you. Select locate. At first we need to provide this search query and the word is am, and then we need to provide our second parameter, means our string, and our string is I am a student. And last you need to provide another parameter which is completely optional. And then I'm going to take a alias name for this column as result. If I execute this code, here you can see it's written 3. It's written a index position which is 3. It's work like position. And now I want to search only a character, not am. If I execute this code, here you can see the same result. It's written 3 because the a character start from the third index. But as you can see, there are another a character in this string. So I want to search the next a character position. For this we need to pass our third parameter, comma, we need to pass the index number. It's mean how much character you want to skip. So I want to pass 3. So I want to search result after 3 character, 1, 2, 3. So it's going to skip this 3 character, then it's going to search the result. Means it's going to search a character. If I execute this code, here you can see, oops, sorry, we don't need to use double quotes. And also I'm going to change the parameter, fourth. So I'm going to search this result from the 4th index, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I execute this code, here you can see it's written 6. Because after 4th index, our a character start from 6th index, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this is the basic difference between locate and position function. In locate function we can use third parameter and we can define the position from where we want to search. If you want to search result after 10 character, yes you can. Just you need to provide the parameter here. So let's jump into our next function, which is substring. It's mean you can remove a part from a big string. So I'm going to use this function. So I'm going to remove this function locate and I'm going to type substring. First we need to provide this string. In our case I'm going to pass a dummy string. Hey, this string is too big, so I'm going to remove this part. Lorem ipsum is simply. And in our next parameter we need to provide from where we want to start, mean position. So we need to provide the index number. So I'm going to use 4th index, means E. So if I execute this code, here you can see it's written this string without this 3 character. Because here we mentioned that our string start from this character, em. That's why it's kept this 3 character and written this string from this position. If I pass 7 and then execute this code, here you can see it's written ipsum is simply. But wait, there is another parameter. Suppose I want to print only ipsum is from the string. So we need to pass third parameter to specify the exact position. Let me show you, comma 14. So this query going to return this string from 7 index to 14 index. If I execute this query, here you can see it simply print ipsum is simple. And if you want to print only ipsum is, and then you need to count after your starting index. This is your starting index, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I pass 8 and execute this code, now it's print ipsum is. From the starting index we need to count serially, like 1, 2, 3, 4. It's worked that way. Not only that, we can use minus value in this parameter. Let me show you. this is our -1 position, -2, -3, -4, -5 and -6. So I'm going to type -6. From -6 I want to print 6 character. It's mean this simply word. So I'm going to type 6 here. If I execute this code, here you can see it's print simply word. Here our starting position is -6, mean this position, and then after -6 I want to print total 6 character, means this word. There is a shorthand version of this function which is substr. Let me show you. Just we need to type substr. If I execute this code, we can see the same result. Similarly, we have another function named mid. Let me show you. If I execute this code, it's written same result. Substring, substr and mid, it's written same result. Let's talk about our next function, substring index. Let me show you. I'm going to simply type the function name substring underscore index. In this function, simply we just pass a string. With that, we need to provide a delimiter. It's mean from where you want to break the string, and it's going to return result before the breaking point. Suppose here I'm going to pass a URL www.google.com, and in our second parameter we need to pass the delimiter name. It's mean from where I want to break the string. Suppose I want to break this string from this point. So inside the inverted quotes, I'm going to pass dot. And now we need to mention the exact dot. Here you can see 2 dots. So we need to provide the index number of this character. And I'm going to pass 1. Means our first dot. If I use 2, it's going to recognize this one. If I execute this code, simply it's going to return all the characters before our first dot. Let me show you. If I execute this code, here you can see it's print www. And if I pass to index and then execute this code, it's going to return www.google. It print all the characters before this dot. Similarly, if I pass z character and then execute this code, here you can see www.zw. It's print all the character before the second z. So this is our substring index function. Our next function is left. So I'm going to type left. Basically, it's going to return all the string left side of the index number. Here we can pass only 2 parameters. Suppose I want to print only www dot. So I need to pass 4th index. From 4th index, it's going to print all the string from the left side. If I execute this code, here you can see it's print www dot. Basically, it's going to print 4 characters from the left side. Similarly, we have opposite function which is right. Let me show you. So this function going to return last 4 character, means .com. If I execute this code, here you can see it print .com. If we use left function, then we can print our first 4 character, and if we use right function, then we can print our last 4 character. Our next function is rpad. So I'm going to type rpad. Rpad means first it's going to count all the character from the string, and if you want to increase the character length in right side, if you count this character, we have total 14 character in the string, and now I want to increase this string size from 14 to 20. So I'm going to pass 20 character. In our second parameter, it's going to padding our text from the right side, and after 14 character, I'm going to fill this area with a new character which is slash. If I execute this code, here you can see after print www.google.com, it fill the area with slash. Here you can see total 6 slash, because we have already 14 character in this string and we mentioned 20 character for this string. That's why it print total 6 additional slash to cover this area. Now the total character length is 20. Not only that, we can use any string in this position. Suppose OE. If I execute this code, it's fill the area with OE character. For now, I'm going to use slash. Similarly, lpad work. If I use lpad and then execute this code, Here you can see it fill the area in the left side with slash, and it's also written 20 characters. It's totally opposite of rpat function. Similarly, we have another function named space. Let me show you. So I'm going to type space. We use this function rarely. Basically, we do not use this function. Suppose I want to use 50 space. So I'm going to type 50. If I execute this code, here you can see it's provide 50 space. So this is the use case of this function. I don't know why we use this function. Let's jump into our next function, which is reverse. So I'm going to type reverse. Basically, it is going to print a string in opposite direction. So here I'm going to type a string add one minj. If I execute this code, here you can see the result. It's print our string from the opposite direction. So this is the use case of reverse function. Our last and next function is repeat. So I'm going to type the function name, which is repeat. In this function, we need to pass total 2 parameters. In our first parameter, we need to pass string, and in our second parameter, we need to pass the number how many times we want to repeat this string. So I want to repeat this string for 3 times. So I pass 3. If I execute this code, here you can see it's print add one minj 3 times. If I give a space and then run the code, now it's clear for you. Add one minj, add one minj, add one minj. So this is it for this tutorial. This is our third tutorial related string functions. In our previous video, we covered 22 string function. But in this tutorial, I'm going to cover the remaining functions, the green ones. So let's jump into the MySQL Workbench application. So finally, I am back to my MySQL Workbench application. Here you can see a function named repeat. This is our previous function. So let's start with a new function named replace. So I'm going to type the function name replace. Using this function, we can replace any character or a word with our new character or word. Let me show you. In our second parameter, we need to provide which character you want to find. I want to find minj. And then in our third parameter, we need to provide the new string which is going to replace the old string. And I want to replace minj with Smith. So first, it's going to find this keyword in our string, and then it's going to replace this string with our new keyword, Smith. If I execute this code, here you can see it print add one Smith. Not only that, if I use this minj word multiple times, add one minj. Let me show you. And then execute this code, here you can see it replace minj keyword multiple times. So this is our replace function. In that way it's work. Our next function is string compare. Let me show you. So I'm going to type string compare. strcmp. Basically we use this function to compare strings. Let me show you. Suppose our student name is add one minj, and now I'm going to pass another parameter, and in this parameter I'm going to use same student name, but I'm going to use small a, add one minj. If the compare is successful, then it's written 0. Let me show you. If I execute this code, here you can see it's written 0. So both the string are matched. And now I'm going to remove minj from our second parameter. Here you can see our left side string is greater than right side string. If I execute this code, it's going to return 1. Here you can see it's written 1 because our left side string is greater than right side string. Similarly, if I remove minj keyword from the left side and type minj keyword in right side and then execute this code, here you can see it's written -1. If our right side string greater than left side string, in that case it is going to return -1. So this is the main use case of string compare function. Let's jump into our next function, which is field. So I'm going to type field. Basically here we provide multiple string list, and if we want to find a particular string from this list, we can do using field function. So here I'm going to pass multiple string minj, Smith, Roy, comma, inside the double quotes, Smith once again. From this list I want to search minj. So if I execute this code, here you can see it's written 0 because in our first parameter we need to provide the search query, and our search query is minj, and remaining values are our list items. So if I type minj once again and then execute this code, here you can see it's written 4 because it's written the index number of this word. This is our first index, Smith, Roy is our second index, and Smith is our third index, and minj is our fourth index. That's why it's written 4. Just you need to remember, in our first parameter we need to provide the search query, and our remaining parameters are our list items. Similarly, we can use this function for integers. We can search integer value also. Similarly, we have another function which is related to this function, find in set. So I'm going to type find in set. Similarly, it's going to find the query in a list, but we need to convert this list into a set. So I'm going to convert this list into a set. So I'm going to remove the double quotes and convert it into a set. That's it. As you can see, now it's a complete string. So inside this string, I want to search minj keyword. So if I execute this code, here you can see it's also written 4. Similarly, if I search Roy and then execute this code, here you can see it's written 2 index. It's a set. Just you need to remember, between comma you don't need to provide any space because string function counts space as a character. So this is our find in set function. Let's jump into our next function, which is format. Let me show you. So I'm going to type format. We use this function basically with numeric values. So here I'm going to take a numeric value. I'm going to type 123.456. Here you can see after decimal point we have total 3 value, but I want to return only 2 value after this decimal point. For this we need to pass a second parameter and mention that how many value you want to show after decimal point. So I'm going to show 2 value, and if I execute this code, here you can see it's written only 46 because it's written a rounded value. It's always written rounded value. In our arithmetic function tutorials, I told you how round value works, so I'm not going to explain it here. So this is the use case of format function. If I want to show one character and then execute this code, here you can see it's written 0.5 because 0.456 is greater than 0.450. That's why it returned the rounded value and it's print 5. So let's talk about our last function, which is hex. So I'm going to type hex. Basically, it's going to return hexadecimal form of any string. So if I pass any string, suppose I want to pass add 1. If I execute this code, here you can see a hexa code. It always return hexa form of the string. Basically, we don't use this function. And if you want to use this function, you can use it in password column. So these are our all function related to string. I hope now it's clear for you. Thanks for watching this video. Stay tuned for our next tutorial.